Hey everybody, it's Deanna. And I said in a past video, it's time for a change. I've had this hair for this length of locks for nearly 7 years, but I'm ready to cut them. I've been ready for months. But I wanted to wait until my 45th birthday, which has happened, yay, to make that big change. And yeah. Holy. People think, oh, your hair is so long and pretty, but that doesn't mean pretty. Now I've got this one. This one has a weird curl thing going on with it, and I've tried to straighten it, but it won't stay straight. So I'm going to cut that curling edge off. And I've got, that's another thing, it flops in my face. Let's see, let me pull those out of the way. Let's see if I can find it. Got this thin one. There's another thin one. Where's the other thin one? It's not that one. I have two thin ones. Is that the other thin one? Yeah, there it is. These are way too thin. Like this one, it's got too much weight on the bottom. And this one does too, to a lesser degree. And these definitely need to be cut because they're going to break off. When I twisted my hair, not recently, but maybe about a month or so, there were two that merged with a third one. And I tried to separate those, and the two that were merged had broke off. So yeah, it's not always fun and games having long hair. It's very heavy. It's very cumbersome. It flops in my face all the time. So I'm dealing with this. Even when I have my hair pulled back, I usually pull it back with a spandex type band, a stretchy hair band, and it will still flop in my face. Or if you see a lot of videos I do, my hair tends to flop to my left side, and it's very heavy. And when I went to Ballet Nova, this was the end of the year, end of 2025. I had my hair tied back with two bands, and it was still flopping in my face, slapping me in the face. And it was bad enough. It was bad enough that I was struggling to pick up the choreography. The instructor was very patient with me, and the other students, there were only two other students who attended that day, were very nice. But I don't do well with choreography, especially very structured choreography. And you tell me to move to my left, I'm moving right. You tell me to move forward, I'm moving backward. You tell me to hop on one foot, I'm hopping on two. Hop on one foot, I'm hopping on two. That it is what it is. And this is my third set of locks, my third set. And I started growing this one out in 2019. I started growing my hair. I had my hair really short at the time, short afro. And then I started twisting it and then locking it and growing it out. And people if I cut my hair short, people are like, oh, your hair is so pretty. Why would you do that? But it's my hair, and it's my choice to do what I want to with it. As I said, it's very cumbersome, it's heavy, it flops in my face, and it's a pain in the butt to deal with. And it puts a lot of weight on my neck. My neck, it hurts so much. And I need this excess weight off of me. And I've had my hair in all sorts of lengths and colors over the years. The first time I got my hair cut, this was when I was 16 years old, and I would have been entering junior year in high school. And I went to this salon where the head stylist, he was supposed to be like really big on hair health, and he'd do a porosity test and whatnot. But the place was very slow. So there'd be one woman, there's a Latina woman who did the wash. Then the man's daughter, who was a teenager, they're mid to late teens, would put me under the dryer, and then the man himself would do the final styling. And I arrived there at noon that day, and I didn't get out until midnight. I'm not exaggerating, folks. It's just very, very slow run plays. Instead of having one person doing everything, like one person working on the same person for the whole duration, they would do the, one would wash, one would sit under the dryer, and one would cut and style. And I was trying to look cool in school because I would, as I mentioned in other videos, I was a nerd in high school. I was picked on all the time, called ugly, called a loser, told I sounded like a man, all that jazz. And I was trying to do anything I could to make myself look cool. So I told him that I wanted my hair longer in the front and shorter in the back. And so he starts snipping and cutting and doing his thing. And when I was finished, when he was finished, it looked like Tootie from The Facts of Life. He cut it. It was like a bowl cut. And it was still long in the back and really short and bowl cut shaped in the front. And I started bawling, people. I was, this isn't what I wanted. They're going to make fun of me. They're going to make fun of me. This is not the haircut I wanted. And my father, being the ever so sensitive and compassionate person he is, said, "Shut up! Fix your face. I'll give you a reason to cry. Shut up! Get out, let's go. Go in the car." Imitating him may make people laugh, but dealing with him is no laughing matter, folks. Yeah. And because I didn't want to be made fun of for having a tootie haircut when I was in 11th, going to 11th grade, I figured out how to fix my hair. What I did was I took the short pieces and I combed them over to the side, tucked them behind my ear. Problem was solved. No one knew I had a bad haircut. And it grew up pretty nicely. It grew up pretty nicely. It was pretty healthy. But unfortunately for me, senior year, 12th grade comes, and I was still aiming for that longer in the front, shorter in the back haircut. Also, this time I wanted highlights. So I'm looking for a salon, and I went to JCPenney. Their clothes are great. I've been buying a lot of JCPenney's clothes lately, but I would say that hair salon is not for Black women's hair. I was calling around. Do you have stylists that work on black hair? Oh, sure, we have stylists that work on black hair, and also red hair and blonde hair and brown hair. But I did find a Black woman who worked at JCPenney, a Black hairstylist who worked with black hair. And she was very nice. She gave me, she would give me the relaxer. And I also wanted copper highlights in my hair. I wanted to keep trying to make myself look cooler, even though it would have done nothing to make those kids like me. If they didn't like me, they were never going to like me no matter what I did. But the hairstyle was really cute and I loved it. And it looked great. But because of that pressure, that strain on my hair from having both a relaxer and color done, my hair started breaking off and falling out in the back. So I had these stumps of hair in the back of my head. And I had no choice but to cut my hair, cut it all off. It kept falling off when I brushed it and combed it, and it was not salvageable. So I ended up spending senior year with short hair, really short. It was cute. It was styled really cutely. Excuse me. And it looked decent. And then I graduated. I had braids put in my hair. So over the years, let's see, when did I start? I started going natural, I believe. It would have been maybe a year or two after I graduated college. I stopped having relaxer put in my hair. And I would start to get it locked. And my mother used to be the one who started my hair on its locking journey. But every other time, my other sets of locks, I've done them myself. And I would sit and I would palm roll each individual one. When it was short, I used to twist it with my fingers and let it sit. And when it got longer, I would find something to watch on TV to keep myself occupied. I'd watch Lifetime movies. I'd watch true crime. I'd watch anything to keep my self occupied, because it usually takes me about, at this length, it takes about 2 hours. This long length takes about 2 hours to retwist. Yeah. And I've had my hair, I find that when my hair is long, people mistake me for younger than I am. I get the sweetie and honey and baby like my child, and I'm expecting them to pat me on the head and give me a cookie. Not what I want. I'm 45. I'm a middle-aged woman. I want to be respected like a middle-aged woman. And I find that when my hair is short, people, when I went to this raggedy temp agency for one of their interviews, I can't really call it an interview. It's not really an interview. And the receptionist looks at my ID. My hair is longer than my ID. And she looks at it, she says, "Why'd you cut your hair? I liked it better when it was long." I said, because I felt like it. And she kept saying, "Well, you shouldn't have cut it. It looks better long." My response, this is someone who had been bullied and teased and picked on all the time, and who finally got to grips. I finally got to grips with how I looked. And I said to her, "I look good no matter how my hair looks." And she still tried to argue and sass and whatnot, but they usually say be nice to the receptionist, but that receptionist was stank as hell, so she did not deserve my niceness. But I was proud of myself for replying like that. I look good whatever my hair looks like. Because that, when I was younger and needing validation so badly, I never would have said anything like that. But at this point, I think I was in my 30s when this interaction occurred. People put too much value on long hair. It's just hair. It grows back. And I learned from many different haircuts and colors and whatnot that it grows back. Now I'm older, I know better ways of salvaging my hair if I get a bad haircut or it's not cooperating with me one day. I have head wraps now. I can use those to cover up bad parts. And I can do all sorts of things now. I'm not limited to what is on my head. I can do whatever I want with my hair. And I've also had, when I had short hair, I've had people say to me that I looked like my father. I know what they were getting at. They were not saying that as a compliment. They were saying I looked like a man. But I learned not to care. I learned not to take that so seriously and take it personally, because that opinion reflected how they felt about themselves, not about me. Or when I cut it shorter, people are waiting for it to grow back. Obsessed with length. It's ridiculous. I even thought about big chop. I'm not going to big chop though. I thought about it. I was even not retwisting my hair for a while because I wanted to get that new growth and have as much length to work with as possible. But the downside of having short hair, a loose natural or an afro, is that I had to detangle it every day and keep it moisturized every day. Sometimes it gets matted and it looks rough. And having locks, having something to work with, puts less of that pressure on me to someone's clicking something outside. It takes that pressure off of me to get it done perfectly, especially on those days where I'm rushing out the door to get to work. I'm not gonna have time to take a pick and pluck it out and spray and moisturize it. So yeah. So okay, let me say this where I pause this. I was watching videos of people cutting their locks, or they were shortening, I should say, shortening their locks. And there's this one woman, she's taking measuring tape, she keeps measuring it and moving the measuring tape and moving it and doing this, doing that before she cut it, and not yelling and scream, "Just do it!" Oh my God. But I'm having those nerves myself. You know, it's easier said than done. So I apologize for yelling at even though she didn't hear me. I apologize through osmosis for yelling at the screen at her like that. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. And it turned out nicely. Hers turned out nicely. She shortened it and it was still a decent length. And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Cut it to where it's still a decent length where I can still play with it and manipulate it. But definitely something that's shorter and more manageable and less strain on my neck. And other things happen. There's at my job, we have these cabinets and they have keys sticking out of the cabinets, and they have these metal key rings that are like these wire key rings. And when I'm in the filing room one time and I get pulled back, and I looked behind me and the metal ring of one of those keys grabbed my hair. So I freed myself and I said, okay, that better not happen again. A second time. And I was mad. I was like, okay, if you do it a third time, I'm ready to fight. I'll fight you. I don't care if you're an object and not a living being. I will fight. Oh, Lord. Mm-mm-mm. That's another reason why. And one time, I think it was my second set of Locs, I'm on the bus, and I feel a kid was pulling my hair. And I look back, and the mother apologized, and the kid just looked like the thumb in the mouth. I was not happy about that. My hair is not a toy. And I think this happened during my first set of Locs. I mentioned this in my video about choosing to be single, about how this drunk white man at this one place, he was talking about how he had white man, drunk white man. And he was talking about how he had a black wife. And he's talking about, oh, she had hair like yours. He was drunk. She had hair like yours. He's holding his drink and he tried to touch my hair. And I backed up like Neo in the Matrix. And he's, oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, you shouldn't have tried that. I didn't want anyone. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch my hair. Don't touch me. And I know that when I cut my hair, that the people who actually do notice these things, they're going to start saying, oh, did you cut your hair? And then me not wanting the attention. Yes. And it's either going to be, oh, I love it, it suits you, or, oh, why'd you do that? You shouldn't have cut it. I liked it better long. Like the woman at that temp agency, the receptionist at that temp agency. But yeah, let me stop rambling and let me do the daggone thing. I'm not doing that on camera. I'm going to do this off camera and I will come back with the results. But one more thing to add before I pause this. I could easily have spent money to get done at a salon, but salons are too expensive and it's hard finding one where they're professional. I don't want to deal with, they always have rules for the customers, but they don't follow the rules themselves. Don't be late, but they're late. Don't cancel last minute, but they cancel last minute. Don't bring your unruly kids, they bring their unruly kids. And then gossiping and using vulgar language, and then the DVD guy comes, and they'll pause and take a break in the middle of my hair getting done. And then gossiping about nonsense. A salon experience should be like going to a spa. It should be quiet, relaxing, aromatherapy, low lights, soothing music, and also I think they should have receptionists, because texting the stylist, I'd rather have the receptionist get in touch with me. Hi, Miss Howard, you have an appointment at 3 today with your stylist. Sending a reminder. Have a good day. Yeah. And some of these stylists they just seem to be in it for the clout and less for, because they love styling hair and they love making women look good. But yeah. Whew. So let me pause this and I will be back with the results later. Peace. I'm back, people, and oh my God. When I was nervous when I did it at first. I cut the ones that were dangling by a thread. I cut those immediately. But after those were cut, I wondered how I was going to tackle this. I took one and I cut it, and another and another. I developed a rhythm, and I went from being very nervous about doing it to feeling relaxed, feeling at ease. Oh my God. It looks so much better. And I can, it's not heavy. When I was cutting it, the weight kept lifting off my shoulders, lifting off my neck. And I like this length. There's still length to play with. I can still pull my hair back in a ponytail, need be. I haven't seen if I, like how it's gonna look if I put it in a bun, but I'm sure it'll be okay. Oh my God. Oh my, I'm like, I was smiling when I was doing this because I needed that weight off of my body. I needed that weight off my head and my neck and my shoulders. Oh my God. I feel like I can stand taller with shorter hair. And as I said, it's not so short that I can't play around with it still and do things with it, but it's less cumbersome, it's less burdensome, and I feel so free. Oh my God. Look at this. Oh my goodness. You just turn around. You do the hokey pokey and you turn the stuff around. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh wait. And there are some there was a piece in the back that it wasn't really locking properly, and it had all this loose hair on the end. So I cut the loose part off, and now there's a tiny stump back there, but I'm not concerned because all these other ones are gonna cover it up. Cutting my hair after getting past the first few locks, it was a breeze. And I really, oh my God. Oh, my neck feels so much better. And another thing I didn't mention in the first half is that when I put my purse on, the strap will catch on my hair, and I'm constantly doing this. And the reason why the x-ray tech had started asking me questions about my hair was because she had me move it out of the way. I had to move it off to the side because, as I said in that first half, it flops to my left side constantly. I don't think it's gonna flop at this length. I think it's gonna stay pretty much put where it is. But people, I tell you, cutting my hair, I feel so liberated. I feel so free. And look, could you have were you able to tell what shirt I was wearing prior to my cutting my hair? Look, you see the logo now. Oh my God, oh my God. I needed this so badly. I needed this so much. I said I needed a change. And I needed a change because I need to shake things up in my life. But I didn't realize how this change would be so beneficial for me. Oh my God. I can't stop saying how liberated I feel. Look at this. I shake my head, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't, it's not on my face. It's, I can do this. Yeah, I can. Let me pull back and stumpy little ponytail. Well, stumpy compared to mine left before, but I love this. And I probably need to pull it back as much as I used to when my hair was longer because it's short enough where it's not my way. It's not, whew. Oh my God. People, what a difference a haircut makes. I needed this change so badly. And for those who are going to say, why'd you cut it? Da, 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 da. It's just hair. It is just hair. And as I said in the first half, it doesn't matter how long or short it is. I look good however my hair looks. I needed to liberate myself from that weighty hair. Too bad I don't have a kitchen scale to weigh that hair to see how much excess weight that was. I'll weigh myself later today to see, to get a sense of, because I wonder if the hair added to my weight. I'm curious to know. But I wish I had a kitchen scale so I could see how much hair was cut off, because I just feel, whew, I feel free. I feel free, folks. And as I said, it is just hair. No matter what length it is, short, long, bald, everything in between, it's all good. And I'm so glad I did this. If you have liked this video and you want to hear more from me, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take care, folks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.